And welcome to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brent, the real estate guys, with you today. And thanks for joining us here on KCMX Radio, as well as at YouTube, as well, at realestateshoworegon.com. How you doing? Here we are, May the 18th. My goodness, May is moving along here. It's almost summer. I don't know, what are we going to do? Summer's almost here. Well, today here on the show, we're really excited to have two very unique people with us today. Here is Laura Horton. Laura is a broker with Windermere here in Medford, right? Longtime agent there. Has been on our show before. Right. And we just found out that Laura and Joe did your first real estate transaction together.
10 years ago.
12 years ago. 12
years ago. That's right.
12 years ago, 2007. Anyway. And Laura is also the chair of the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors Education and Outreach Committee. So she is one busy lady. So
thank you for your service on the board.
Yes, thank you for doing that, Laura. That's great that you serve, and we do appreciate that. I really do. We mean that. And here in the middle here is Hal Jones, and Hal's from the Medford School District.
And it's great to be with you, Pete and Joe.
Gosh, it's good to have you here as well. Now, tell people what you do at 549C.
Thank you. I'm the Pathways and CTE coordinator for the Medford School District.
Yeah? And, you've been doing that for how long?
I've been doing that for 9 months, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And so what I do essentially is I help create the opportunity for students in our high school system in particular to connect their emerging interests, occupational interests, career interests, with high-wage, high-demand career paths, first right here in the Rogue Valley, but then statewide, nationwide, worldwide. Mm-hmm. So that's really, in essence, what the Pathways Initiative in the Medford District is about. It's first asking students to think about what their dreams, their passions, their interests are, and how we as an educational system can connect those to the world of work in a meaningful way. That has benefit both, of course, to the student and to the community at large.
It's like hearing music to our ears, isn't it, Joe?
Really
hearing what you're saying. Seriously, this is a really neat thing to hear. Well, Laura, how did and today's show, by the way, is sponsored by the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. So how did RVAR get in? Why are you sitting next to him? I guess that comes down to this, okay?
Well, actually, 549C actually contacted RVAR.
Cool, okay.
And they were interested in seeing if we would be maybe interested in helping with that Pathways program.
Okay.
As one of their career selections.
Uh-huh. So you thought enough of the realtors and the realtor world and the real estate, Hal.
Of course I do.
You thought enough of us.
That's why I'm here.
You thought enough of us to call Laura. Okay, so that's how that started, right? Then they called you.
They called our RVAR.
Okay,
yeah.
but what did you? Okay, what was the discussion that went on within the outreach committee and the boards and all that kind of thing at RVAR with this? What was their reaction then?
Well, Hal came to one of our meetings and spoke to us and explained, the program, which we were all really excited about, and that's kind of how it just started. And there's actually going to be different opportunities for realtor members to get involved with this program. So it might be that we will go to the classroom and do a presentation to the students. That's one way. Another way would be to help judge at the business clubs like
fairs.
the DECA, and then go to the career fairs.
Okay.
We had a table there this last time, and it's attended by I don't know how many schools, but all the freshmen that were incoming freshmen.
Job fairs, that kind of thing.
There were about 1,200 community high school students participating.
Yeah, so it was pretty amazing. And then lastly, mentors. Being a mentor to somebody and kind of giving the student an opportunity to shadow us.
Okay.
And kind of get more of a feel for what it is we do on a day-to-day basis.
Now, RVAR's members are pretty varied. I mean, it's not just realtors like we are, the three of us are, but it's lenders are part of RVAR, right? I mean, escrow people, construction people. I mean, I'm trying to think of all the different types of businesses that are involved in the real estate industry, right? Is that what this kind of heading towards?
You're exactly right, Pete, and that's a great example. A lot of times people will think somewhat narrowly about a particular industry. A lot of times if you ask people, so what's the first thought that comes into your mind when you think about real estate?
Yeah.
They'll think about for sale sign on somebody's lawn, and they'll think about a real estate agent. But as you said, the truth is there are many occupations
that
are contained in that real estate industry. The same thing could be said about construction or manufacturing or health services, a wide range of opportunities with varying degrees of expertise and education required for them. So our interest,
all these are trying to get, as you said, good paying jobs for kids in the future, right? I mean, for people in the future,
that's
right?
exactly it. High wage, high demand jobs first, focused right here in the Rogue Valley.
Okay, now let's see, what are the other things that are in the real estate orbit that this can touch? Okay, think about it. We got realtors like us, we talk about, who help people buy and sell homes, right? Beyond that, you've got transaction coordinators. That's a lot of, help me here. What else is out there for the guys?
Escrow officers.
Escrow researchers that do the
building trades.
Title examiners.
Title examiners are in there, okay.
And even title company that, like the marketers, that they go to the offices and to the marketing department.
The marketing departments of these places, sure, okay. There's lenders, right? There's underwriters. I mean, there's local credit unions. I mean, banks like People's Bank do their own. So there's that type of area there. Okay, what else is there?
Builders.
The whole builders world.
The entire trades section is in dire need of new labor, an infusion of new labor and skilled labor.
And by the way, last week when Jessica Bennington was in here from the Builders Association, they have some internships in electricians and plumbing and stuff like that, so that are out there. They're taking names for people, somewhat very similar to what the Pathways program is. Don't you think?
Exactly right, Pete. And in fact, we've been working with the Business Education Partnership, which is kind of a branch of Rogue Workforce Partnership, a coalition of local businesses and industry leaders to create these internship opportunities for juniors and seniors in high school right now.
Okay.
And so we are eager to partner with people involved in the real estate community here locally to help create these access points for kids. And I think one thing that is really special about the local real estate industry, and I think you mentioned this earlier on, is it doesn't necessarily require a four-year college degree.
No, it certainly does not.
And that marks it as kind of an important opportunity for a whole segment of our student population.
It sure does. You're right. I mean, think about that. Real estate, I mean, it's tied to how much effort you want to put into it.
Right.
How much do you want to make? How much money do you want to make? And those kind of things, right? I mean, and you don't have to have those. You're right.
You're exactly right. And what you're touching on is what we call a transferable skill set, right? It's all those employability skills, the ability to communicate, to develop rapport, to be honest, to be reliable, a person of integrity, someone who can be trusted in a transaction. All of those social skills underlie that kind of success in this industry. And so we've worked together with the Business Education Partnership to really identify what we call the BEP, or the Business Education Partnership employability skills, and they're all about those things.
What a great cross section, and I'm excited to hear that the local industry leaders, that's essential to have their expertise, their knowledge, and their willingness to create those partnerships and opportunities for students, because once they get in there, those students are going to have a great, we have some people that can really do well for them.
And think of all the people that have been our guests who would be fabulous mentors.
On one after
kids.
the other.
Okay, I'm trying to think of what else is there. There's the home inspection, the entire inspection world. Because they're specialized, broke down beyond just the home inspection, to chimneys, to basements, to this, to pest inspections. That type of thing is enormous business in out there. So that's another one. Inspections, appraising, that kind of thing. Remodeling, of course, if you get into the construction trades themselves. But geez, that's just a ton of stuff that we just thought of right here, right now. that's out there and available for students to learn. I think that's really great. Okay, what else we got? What else you got with that?
Well, I think what you're talking about are these crossover fields, right? So for real estate in construction, for example, at the high school we have one of the Pathways umbrellas, big pathway categories, is career technical education. Within career technical education, you've got business, you've got construction trades, you've got manufacturing, and when you think about all of the jobs related to those industries that cross over into real estate, we just checked them right off. Here they are. So students will have kind of this enhanced ability through the Pathways Initiative, this coalition of businesses and educators, to help connect students where their particular area of interest and passion and strength is to those crossover areas.
How many? Who else is involved with this? Just out of curiosity. By the way, here, Joe, if you get a picture of this, this is the Medford School District's Career Technical Education brochure. It's called the Pathways Program, A Place for Every Kid. And I'd never seen it until today, so I'm really glad that you brought that, Hal. And I think it's very, very good. And it's a great way for people to see and read that. I'm trying to think of other more or less related areas. I think there's just so many when you start thinking about what else is out there in agricultures and the kinds of things that are beyond these things related to real estate that are out there as well.
You bet.
Other businesses.
Absolutely.
Who else besides, I know RVAR, we're just getting started, but anybody else out there that you've already doing this with?
Absolutely, Pete. So you mentioned the plumbers unions, electricians, apprenticeships. So we're connecting with all of the local trades. We're also connecting with business, with the business community. We're connecting with manufacturing. The three leading employment areas, you could say, growth areas in the Rogue Valley are healthcare and health-related services.
Okay, that's true.
Construction. Construction is booming.
Yeah.
The demand for jobs far outpaces the folks who are qualified and available. You got it. Supply and demand. It's right there.
Yeah.
And the other is manufacturing. Manufacturing is growing by leaps and bounds here locally. We have hundreds of manufacturers locally who are knocking on the door to our educational system, asking for our help in creating these connections.
Okay, and what kind? And what kind
are
of?
some of those?
I was going to say, what kind of reaction have you gotten from kids? That's a good question too. But what are the kids reacting to? Students, are they reacting to this, or are they saying no? I'm curious.
That's a great question, because one thing that I really appreciate, and when you know adolescents, you know this about them. You ask them a question, you're going to get the straight scoop, and you're going to get it sometimes from a pretty self-interested point of view. And they're going to say, how much money is there in it? What's the opportunity? And how much education do I need?
I did.
Good question.
We all did that.
We all do that. We're all consumers
we're
at heart.
We're all that
right?
way. Okay.
And so there are some great answers to those questions for kids. So let me give you an example. Timber products, for example. Big employer, manufacturing company here in the Rogue Valley. John Underwood, the HR director of Timber Products, partnered with us very early on, 3 years ago, in this effort, and said, look, if you can help your students, first of all, gain that employability skill set, that social skill set that you talked about, and then have a little technical knowledge through something called a certified production technician credential. So that's what we call an industry recognized credential. It's an affordable credential. Once a student gets that in high school, they can take it. It totally advantages them in terms of jobs, right? In the manufacturing field. So we said, awesome, John, we will partner with you. We'll partner with Quantum Innovations. We'll partner with Boise. We'll partner with CareStream. We'll partner with our local manufacturers to help create that educational experience that emphasizes both the social and the technical skills, and we'll help connect those students to you.
And students are connecting with them?
They're connecting. As a matter of fact, Timber Products, Quantum Innovations, they were the first to sign up to be internship sites.
And it's working. Well, good. If it can work for them, it ought to work with realtors and the real estate industry there as well. We got a break coming up here. We're going to continue. We're with Hal Jones from Medford School District, Laura Horton from representing the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors, the Pathway programs we're talking about. What a great program for kids. I'm really excited about it. We're coming right back after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880 and on YouTube at realestateshoworegon.com. Pete and Joe, the real estate guys, with you today, and thanks for joining us, of course, as we're here towards the end of the month of May, and spring, well, school's almost out, my goodness. Summer tourism season is underway, so I guess everything's normal around here. And we got a lot of water in the lakes and rivers. So,
and we wet the forests down a little bit this week, damp those down a little bit.
Got a little bit of rain. Yeah, everything's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, today we're with Hal Jones and Laura Horton. Laura's with, she's the chair of the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors Education Outreach Committee, and Hal Jones represents the Pathway program. He's the head of that at Medford School District. The two of them are partnering together is what we're hearing about today. And some really exciting stuff for kids. I mean, students, I'm excited about this because, again, How long have we been saying this? Not everyone is meant to go to a 4-year college and do this. And we have so many jobs, so many opportunities in our own community to have people stay here instead of leave. What a concept, huh?
One of the things I loved, I heard in that first segment, Hal, is that it's a really well-rounded. It's not just the technical trade skills. You've got to be able to function with customers. You may someday need to run your own business, have that opportunity. You've got to go out there armed with more than just the ability to do construction well, do those things. You've got to have those social skills to interact and be a good part of a business or a business team.
And what's the one thing, as we age and go forward, what's the one thing you don't want to do? You don't want to work for somebody else. You want to work for yourself. And in real estate, the real estate business itself allows so many people to do that.
Yeah. Yes.
Opportunities to be your own bosses, to have your own small businesses within our community. So you're really preparing that next future generation that's going to take over the things when we're gone in this type of stuff. That's what's exciting about it to me.
The truth is, nobody can fill your shoes. We all know that.
You're very think about that. So, Laura, now is RVAR? Have we started this program, or are we just getting to the initial part of it?
Well, we're just actually in the initial phase right now. Basically, we are going to be appealing to our realtor members to see if there's some interest, so we can kind of develop a pool that we can pull from. Okay. And when we get a phone call that says, okay, we need somebody to come and present at the classroom level, and then we can look through and see who we have as far as who's volunteered to do this. We're going to be the people who are going to be involved in this, of course, have to pass the background check, and then do the volunteer paper or online through the Medford School District, and complete the Medford School District's video Safeguarding Our Children. And then we're wanting somebody to have at least 2 years real estate experience, and with no violations on their record.
No code of ethics violations. Right. You should probably say, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then submit a reference from the participant's firm, and then they would be interviewed by the outreach committee.
Okay, gotcha.
And so we're really wanting to make sure that somebody who really wants to be with students and
are you going to reach out beyond? I mean, you're going to go to lenders or escrows yet, or you're starting with realtors?
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far. Okay. So we're just starting within our own realtor members.
So you're creating a pool for members who want to participate, is what I hear you saying. Okay.
And then there'll be those different opportunities too. So some people who like that, we have a lot of retired teachers who are now real estate agents. So they would probably be a good one to go and present in a classroom. And some people that are tech savvy.
Gosh, there's a lot of. I mean, think about the realtors that are out there. I mean, you got to be able to have that background of giving, that background of volunteering, that background of helping somebody, wanting to have that in your DNA, to do this. Just otherwise, you don't enjoy it. I mean, it's forced upon you. You don't want to do that, so you got to have that, right? And there's a lot of passion out there in real estate. There's a lot of realtors who'd be perfect for this,
right?
Because their backgrounds are so interesting. Where they come from too.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh. Okay, so this is coming and starting now. So you're getting that together now.
Right. We're getting that pool of agents together right now. So.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting program, and Hal, you've been doing it for a while, and I know they're changing superintendents in Medford. I assume this program is going to continue. It's certainly, my goodness, it better, huh? I mean, it's
absolutely.
What the efforts have gone into it are enormous.
We owe a lot, frankly, to our current superintendent, Brian Shoemate, until June 30th. Who brought to our region this vision of the importance of creating these career pathways for students as a way of trying to increase their connection to each other, to our high school systems, and to create that relevance that was so desperately needed, frankly, at the high school level. Yeah. So we credit Brian for bringing that vision and having the courage of his convictions and putting resources behind it. And now we're starting to kind of experience the fruits of a lot of that work over the last 6 years, frankly. So we do have kids who are leaving our high schools already. They've got industry credentials in hand. They've got some professional experience through internships. They're ready to make their impact in the world of work. Some are going on for post-secondary training for licenses.
Right.
Others are going on for traditional four-year college degrees. But the great thing about it is it bodes well for the health of our community, because now we're able to fill people with work in a way it's a meaningful match. For the real estate industry as a whole, it's such a people-intensive, social skills-intensive field, and so we've worked very closely with the business community to really refine. So what are those qualities? What are those personal communication, social qualities that we need to really help imbue in our kids? And so we're doing that. And with the Board of Realtors in this opportunity, we're inviting them to come into our business program. We're inviting them to come into our construction program and help be mentors with kids and help shape that next generation of real estate agents.
We also face some challenges in our graduation rates, and we're trying to engage and keep more students involved throughout to the end of the high school process. I'll bet it takes a few more years. This is the third year into the program, but I'll bet we see an improvement in our graduation rates because students are having something that engages and connects them to school in a way that just the traditional paths of the books and the classrooms maybe does not. Athletics does that for a lot of students. Band and
extracurricular
and
activities.
those opportunities to engage, make friends, and do things like that of like-minded interests really will help kids be interested in stay in school. I think it's a win-win. It keeps them there through the process, which is so important for their future, but they also are coming out really prepared more and benefiting from staying with it and finishing.
Our graduation rate last year was over 80%. That's up from 68% 6 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
And
that is a great trend.
Part of the deal with that.
I credit this as a significant impetus for that graduation rate.
Excellent.
The truth is that high school teachers, people all across the board have worked very, very hard to engage kids, to increase that sense of relevance and meaning at the school level through sports, through all sorts of different activities. Pathways Initiative is kind of the big umbrella under which all of that activity takes place.
It's where the money is made, and kids dangle some money. You can make some money, students.
Money talks.
I mean, listen, you want to be, you can be like Doug Morris. You're like Doug Morris, the #1 agent in the whole valley.
Doug started out. Right? He started out as a grocery clerk at the Jacksonville market. It's
how famous that is. I mean, that's the most famous story of real estate.
Everybody in town, and boy, did that set him up for success.
Well, I've met realtors. I mean, Laura, you too. I mean, we've met people who've come into this business. They can be young or old, and they can do really well. So again, it's people skill. It's how much incentive do you want for yourself, and that's where teachers can really help in getting those students there and identifying those who have that passion. And boy, when they get it, it's really exciting. We've seen that at SOU for years, and we still see it. But extracurricular activities is such a part of it, and this is part of that too. It sounds like you can include this in it because it's doing something outside of what you're normally doing in school, right?
That's a great point, Pete. In fact, this graduating class represents the first graduating class who can graduate with the distinction of having earned a Pathways certification. Okay. And one of the 3 criteria of that is that a student is connected to a club or activity on campus for the affiliation, which is what Joe so well appreciates and recognizes is so important. And so in addition to having had this sequence of courses connected to their area of interest, and having the opportunity to earn dual credit through early college courses while they're in high school, by the way, the Medford School District pays for students to earn college degrees while they're in high school. That's amazing.
Wow, okay.
And they can earn an industry-recognized credential, again, paid for through the Medford School District before they graduate from high school.
As part of this program.
As part of this program.
Didn't know that. Wow.
Through partnerships with Road Community College, Southern Oregon University, and other industry partners. All of those resources are there and available, and students are beginning to understand how that benefits them. Staff are beginning to understand how they can help students make those connections. So we're really seeing it take momentum now.
Well, good luck with you on that. That's great
and
to hear.
And the affiliation of all those agencies is outstanding and really serving our region well to get together, work on this together.
Before we get to our last segment here, Laura, speaking of education, because you're also chair of the education deal at RVAR, and one of the things that
boy, do we need education.
Lots of education.
Never run out of work there.
Yeah. Well, you never run out of things that you come across.
Learn,
But the point was, when we started our show 10 years ago, there was very little RVAR was doing in terms of supporting education, really locally. It wasn't done. You guys are doing a great job now, which is really, and I think you're bearing the fruits of that, perhaps, that more and more realtors and people involved in this business are taking advantage of all this amazing courses that you're doing, right? Isn't that happening?
Yeah, well, I have to say that Susan Ledoux,
she's the best.
She is, and I mean,
yeah.
I might be the chair of the committee, but really, the committee, it's
sure.
Susan is
Susan's the committee.
She's the driving
force. You still get to take a bow.
And she
somebody
does great.
had to say yes, though, for her to do all of this.
But she's very passionate about the education, you know, part of RVAR, and it shows. And she's, you know, brought in some really quality trainings through our GRI programs. In fact, there's a class tomorrow, and I'm not going to be able to attend that one, darn it. But yeah, there's just amazing amounts of speakers that she, you know, engages and has present to us, and you know, I learn something new every day.
Yeah, and if you take advantage of those, it's going to cut down, like you do in students in school, it's going to cut down on the errors you make. It's going to cut down on the problems that you have because you're educated more and you know that. And especially with so many new agents coming into this business in the last few years. And you know, you got like 1,200 or something like that, 1,300 agents.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
So, and hats off to Susan too, because she's a big part of the support RVAR puts to this program, because she knows it's a great conduit to the audience, and we get really great guests, and we talk about some really great things as we are today.
Well, whatever we go by the philosophy, whatever is taught to realtors, we need to tell the public that, because they need to hear this. I mean, this program example today. It's a great example of that.
It is.
Look what we've learned and what you're doing, and the impact it has in the community. Those are the kind of things that we always like to talk about, which we get so rare. So rare do we ever see that. It's always the other side of that news, and that's what's so exciting about this is actually making tangible results for people.
And people working really hard on behalf
families
of
and helping
students and behalf of our community and our future.
Yeah. Okay, we got final break to go. The Real Estate Show today. We're with Hal Jones and Laura Horton from RVAR, the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. We got one more break coming up. We're going to talk about the market. My goodness, what's happening here at the end of May? We got the latest SOMLS stats for you when we come back after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880 and RealEstateShowOregon.com on YouTube. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett with you today, and thanks for joining us along with Hal Jones here and Laura Horton. Hal's from Medford School District and is the Pathways Coordinator, and Laura Horton's from the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors, the Outreach and Education Committee. We've had quite a discussion today. I swear I've enjoyed this whole day listening to this Pathways program and how realtors and the whole real estate industry are going to be a part of it, and how we can affect change for young people. My goodness, what more can you want when you get to that, right? Well, we also have a real estate market out there that's going on. We're going to talk about that here in our last segment.
Real estate show.
And we got Laura here. She knows all these things anyway, right? As we go through here, let's just say April. Was a pretty good bag in Jackson County. I'll just go quickly through you. Pending sales from a year ago, April now, we're up 7.5%. All right. New listings were up barely 0.3. Kind of surprised us there a little bit. The average days in the market dropped to 46 from 51. Not too bad there. The big thing is, what do you get versus your original price versus the sale price, right? A year ago in April, it was 97.3. Remember, it was before July. 97.3 is pretty good. What was it, you think, in April of this year? Dropped 96. That tells us there's more inventory out there, and that buyers have more negotiating power right now because there's more inventory. So you have more. Well, I showed properties this last week down in Ashland, and my buyer, we were surprised how many there were. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we're talking 500,000 range. There was a lot of inventory out there. So people are definitely seeing that and just having an effect on the market. What else? Available homes per buyer. This is what we always talk about, Joe, in Laura. Available homes a year ago, there were 3.2 per buyer. Now there's 4.4. That's up 40%.
That's big.
Month supply of inventory. Remember, a normal market is about 6 months. We are at 2.9. We're halfway there to that normal market. But it's been growing since July. Yeah. So that's where we are. So what do you think about all that? You're involved with this at Windermere. What do you think, Laura?
You were talking about pricing and everything, and what I have been noticing for months now is on our 24-hour market watch. We'll see how many new listings there are and all of the breakdowns. I'm seeing just about almost the same amount of price reductions as new listings.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Telling me that sellers are still wanting to start out high, but then they're coming down on their price.
Reality check.
So that's interesting.
If you have a listing that's out there beyond 40 days, 50 days, it's too high priced because it should be selling.
Yeah, it's price and condition.
And the condition. And just to show you how much activity is going on, the demand out there, again, this last report I'll show you, is the key box openings that we have at RVAR. And in April of this year, there were almost 10,600, which is over 1,500 more than a year ago. So that's a lot of openings.
Yeah.
It's a lot of looking. Maybe not so much buying at times, but there's a lot of looking going on. If nothing else, right?
Yeah.
That's
part of the process.
And the most interesting, I love this. The stats never lie to us. They are what they are. Okay. I just wanted you to know one thing. We have talked about rural properties, with the cannabis thing now for how many years? It still has not recovered. In fact, it's really interesting. The rural properties in Jackson County, for example, dropped in value from a year ago, 7%. While the rest of the market gained about 4.3% value in Jackson County during that time period. But rural properties continue they're losing value. And really, especially 5 acres and above.
People horribly overpaid for them, so it's for a lot of them and ended up not being able to use them for their intended purpose. So there's a glut out there.
And Laura has brought a great stat. Remember we had for years, there was not even 1,000 listings. There just weren't.
Right.
Well, now they're over 1,000. But listen to how this is broken down. This is pretty interesting.
Just before I got here today, I just went on, and for Jackson County, there's currently 1,167 homes that are on the market.
1,167.
Now,
okay.
For homes that are $200,000 or less, there's 55. And some of those are 55 plus, townhomes or may not even finance because of the condition.
Correct.
The 201 to 300,000, there's 205, and then the 301 to 400 is 226. So if you're over 401,000, we have 680.
Wow. Yep.
So
Top heavy.
It's
so below that,
affordability. It's
so
it's
what's
a concern.
happening?
It really is
below that 400,000 mark. Okay, that's where the market is really active. That's where we're still getting multiple offers on properties in this range. You go above that 400,000, 500,000 range. Look how many there are. Half of the market is in that range, which has a higher, is more homes. The inventory is more out there. And that's where the more negotiations are going to have to take place.
And those are out of the reach of the most active buyers.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's it. Half the market is above that. It's above that. Over half the market. And at the other end of the market, there's nothing below 200,000, hardly. Wow. See, so we're in that.
So we need those students to get trained so they can
build
wages, high wages.
High wage jobs, getting there,
And I think our local municipalities are also really taking a hard look at some more density and some more ways to accommodate homes and living spaces for people in an affordable range, because really you just could price a whole section of our society be included. I'm right on the cusp of that.
No, we don't want to do that. And we're still looking to try and the need for multiple units and duplexes and the kinds of housing that our valley needs. A broad range of it. And that's where we're still not doing that broad range of new housing. We're still doing the 3-2s
are fueling our comeback,
and nothing beyond that. And we still need so much other housing in our valley besides that. So anyway, we'll see what happens with it all. It's a good market. We'll continue. It's gonna get. I think this summer it's going to be quite active. I'm sure we'll all agree with that. Inventory continues to come out. So. And interest rates still at that 4.2% range, to 4.7 range.
Helping our cause.
Geez, that's who would have thought that the way the year was going to start. But all those are pointing to, and of course we still have a beautiful place that we live. And let's face it, that's a big draw. It's the biggest draw of all. We got great schools now, and listening to what Hal has told us today about the Pathway program. I've heard about it for years. I've read about it, but I've never heard that you're actually doing it now the way it's going, and you're seeing some results.
Oh, yes.
That's
Big
great.
time. Yeah.
Really
And
impressive.
realtors are going to be a part of it too.
Very good.
I like that. I think it all adds up to a
Win-win.
great situation.
It's a win-win.
Win-win
Yep.
for everybody, and especially for young people.
And
we really
young
wanna
people
help.
might have an opportunity to not have to go away for 20 years to be able to afford to move back here. We'd
I
like
know.
them to stay and to contribute and raise their families here, and not have to go through that interim stuff.
Because
a
we
lot
see,
of them have to.
we see that all the time.
Yeah.
People moving back,
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
back home for various reasons.
They love it here, but
as
they
we
couldn't afford it.
age.
They had better opportunities when they were
Right.
younger elsewhere and have gone out and kind of
But now-
made their way back.
I think that's kind of a cool thing, maybe
That'd
to
be
keep
great.
more
Maybe
of
keep
our
some more
kids
home.
home,
Yep.
because we're getting good jobs.
We're
Hal,
all about selling the Rogue Valley.
Yeah.
It's a great place to live.
Okay.
You make a good
For
realtor.
sure.
best of luck to you and your program.
Thank you,
Great
Pete.
work. Yeah, exciting.
We'll make sure another year you're going to come back and we'll give you an
Please
update
do.
on how the realtors are doing, right, Laura?
Yeah.
We'll see
Yeah,
if
that'd be
we're
great.
actually doing
Yeah.
it as well.
Thank you,
And
Pete.
thank you for coming by
Thank
as well.
you.
You can always get a
Thanks.
hold of Laura. She's at Windermere, and you can always, how can they get a hold of you if they need to?
Just call my number, 541-261-0204. I'd be happy to help.
If you can Google her too, and you can probably find her at Windermere. That'll do it for the Real Estate Show today. Thank you so much for being with us. For Joe Brett, I'm Pete Belcaster. We'll see you next week back here on KCMX and on YouTube. Have a great week, and God bless you all.